and entertainment. Don't touch your dial. Hey yo, this is your good friend Josiah. Welcome to my Lutheran Connections online TV, where we bring you the best in education, information, and entertainment. Don't touch your dial. Hey, hey, my dear friend, this is your good friend Josiah. Are you looking for something to watch? Or looking for somewhere to go or something to do? I want to welcome you to tune in every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the United States or 8 p.m. GMT, or what we call Liberian time, to watch the best communication network of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, My Lutheran Connections TV. I love it.
Good evening again, folks. I want to welcome you to another edition of MLC Talk. This is the platform we discuss all things Lutheran. Today, in studio, I have my brother Elijah Zina. He's there in the Twin City, Minneapolis. And our sister couple, Soleil, we are hoping that she will join us. We want to give God the glory for safe travel. Our dear colleague, Dr. Toto, is back in the U.S., Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's back, so we want to give God the glory for that. Dr. Toto may not be joining us today due to some pre-engagement. But today, staying the affairs will be my dear brother Elijah Zina and myself, and we most likely will have a contributor from Radio Todota. Today, we will be hosting the board chairperson of the Lutheran University. That's the Lutheran University in Liberia, owned and operated by the Lutheran Church in Liberia. And today we will be we're taking a critical look at the Lutheran University in Liberia, and no one other than the board chairperson, brother Batam Abel Lewoli, will be here with us. We will be having a conversation. But until then, we say please share the show. Please share the show and invite someone. Invite someone to invite someone. Until then, we want to go to our studios there in Minneapolis. My brother Elijah Zina, he is pretty serious with his Terminator sheets. Elijah, how are you doing?
Thank you, Woody. And I'm glad to be here today again, and looking forward to a conversation with the president of the Board of Trustees of the Lutheran University. Firstly, Minnesota is very cold today. We started this morning with a negative -2 degrees. Now we warm up to 8 degrees, so we get in there. But we are freezing today. But on the overall, again, we're still dealing with the ICE activities in Minnesota. Our city is very tense. Donald Trump and his ICE people, they are here in Minnesota. They are still terrorizing the community. So keep us in your prayers as we are navigating through these trying times in Minnesota. And pray for the immigrant community here in Minnesota as well. There are a lot of our brothers and sisters that have been taken by the immigration services. Some of them are documented as well, and so you don't know where you can be at the wrong time, and you just get caught up in the web. And then you have to go through long investigative process and everything else before you get released. So let's keep the immigrant community in our prayers as we are going through these troubling times right now in the United States, and especially in Minnesota, where Minnesota is kind of like the hot pot right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We, today in service, Elijah, our pastor, she did offer a prayer for, um, you know, the residents of Minneapolis and the entire, immigrant community. Um, I mean, you never know which backyard will be the next. So let us just pray for one another that
Yeah.
God, will continue to protect us. Uh, a couple, you kind of so serious today with your cornrow. What's going on in Manitoba? You muted, until you can mute your microphone, that's fine. Elijah, hold on. A couple, hold on. I'm going to give a short joke quickly. One time I called Fit at the time couple was still in Liberia. So I called Fit.
Yes,
You know that joke. I call my daughter Fit. I said, come say hi to end the couple. So and I'm talking, she said, Daddy, did she lose tooth? I said, no, that's normal this beauty.
That's normal their beauty.
I know.
My former colleague said, normal their beauty.
Yeah.
So you
That's
guys,
Manitoba, couple.
Yeah, Manitoba is here. Got a blowing snow today. Yeah, it started since 6 o'clock this morning. Our weather is very terrible. And we are advised to stay home, stay in the, don't be in the street because it is terrible today. Yeah, well, other than that, we are cool. Winnipeg is okay as usual. Today, I went to service. We had our interim pastor. She was installed today. Yeah, but everything is okay. Family okay. My children they are fine. I was just on the line with them. My husband is okay. At least thank God for safe arrival back to the States. And we bless God for everything. Um,
she back to the state or back to Manitoba?
no, he's not a mental. Not Winnipeg.
Did they,
think
did
he's
they have a
on the
layover? Did they have a layover in Winnipeg?
No, not Leo and Winnipeg.
Yeah, I mean, same thing over here, man. We're doing okay, and when this famous proverb.
I beg you before you
Go ahead, couple.
one of my friends, okay, that's Slimmer. She called me. She's like, "Well, why you are not checking on me? You don't know what's going on in Minnesota?" I said, "I do know, but I know you now. You got a document." She said, "Even as that, you don't know the people even that own citizen. They are capturing their own citizen, and you what's about us?" So I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's true. I should have called you people to check on all the Minnesotans. How they call you, Minnesotans or Minnewags?"
Yeah, Minnesota.
All the Minnesotans I should have called. But anyway, we are in prayers with few people. It is very serious. We watch it every day. We see how things are going from your end. We just in prayer with you, and we pray that God blessings, God's strength, continue to be with you people as you guys go through this time of strong harassment because it is very, very serious. So our prayers are with you people, Elijah.
Thank you, couple. Before the mayor of the 54th state.
I know. someone had on a t-shirt. Canada, we hate him too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a lot.
So actually, we no, what I was going to start with this that in Liberia we have this famous saying that when America, when America when America sneeze, Liberia catch cold. So when we see the weather down here dropping in the 20s, then we know what's taking place in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, or up north. Up north as a whole. We know our brother, what's the name, Foucault, South Foco is there in with his family in North Dakota. I can just imagine, what
South
Corpo is going
Dakota.
through.
South
Eh?
Dakota. South Dakota.
South Dakota. Okay, he's there in South Dakota and his family. So we're praying along with you all, stay indoors. Yeah, I can just imagine, digging snow. But in the meantime, Elijah, what's on your mind? We take our usual, 1 minute. What's on your mind today? What did you come with?
Oh well, there are a couple of things on my mind. Number one is it's the Lutheran University that we're about to talk about today, and I'm glad that we have the president of the board of trustees joining us today, and I'm looking forward to that conversation with him. Um, and another thing on my mind is that the Lutheran Church in Liberia, I think they're doing a lot of great things. They're doing some things, but like we don't have the right PR system put into place by the current leadership or even past leadership. The LCL, like we have a lot of programs that we're running. I was following just last week, and I saw that the trauma healing reconciliation program were launching another. Um, they were launching a new phase 5 of the rehabilitation and reintegration program, a work they've been doing down in Buchanan and working alongside the government of Liberia and other stuff. And they were doing the launch of that phase of that program, and it was covered by ITV. And I think some of these things needs to be, like there should be a platform where like Lutherans are connected with and they're really publicized so people can understand the impact the church is making in a greater society rather than just doing it like just using one platform and then if you did it on that platform that's it. If people not sharing it, people not following it, people don't get to know what it is and what they're doing. So there are different programs in much as there are challenges with the church, but there are other things they are doing. But I think there's a need for the LCL to put into place a really good PR system so that information about the church activities and stuff like that. Especially even a working Facebook page, besides my Lutheran Connection where we just sharing information, but a working Facebook page where you can see the day to day like the ELCA has. Like if you want to know anything about the ELCA, there's a Facebook page where they're always featuring things the bishop's doing and everything else that the ELC is doing, different sinners are doing, the synods are doing. Like you see those things on the internet, right? So you don't have to go to the general website of the ELC to know what's going on or what the bishop is doing. Even Facebook can help you to understand what the ELC bishop is doing, what places he visited, and all that kind of fun stuff. So I think our church needs to explore some of these opportunities, just leverage the opportunity of the social media and other platforms that can help you disseminate good information and attract people to the work that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Elijah. I mean, the points you made are all valid. Maybe the church needs or the bishop needs a developmental asibo.
I know he does.
Couple, what's on your mind? 1 minute. We'll have our guest patiently waiting for us so we can bring him on.
Yeah, Woody. Lots of things, lot of things to talk about, but those important ones or those ones that we have prioritized. Elijah talked about our Lutheran University. Yeah, we hope to see an account, and we await the chairperson of the Board of Trustees to come and tell us how far we are, and we hope that uh, our today's meeting or information sharing will be a pathway to our students' graduation or whatsoever updated program that they haven't had for the past time. And another thing, the last time I spoke about the parsonage for our bishop, the bishop parsonage. Like I said, if they have not posted it in one of our chat rooms, I only have known that there is a a parsonage project that is going on presently.
Yeah.
So the issue of information sharing, we need to be on top of it. Yeah, the bishop really need to look at that. Elijah stressed the issue of Facebook page. I don't think we have an active website or whether we have one that is even inactive. So since the website we don't have it, it has cost attached. I think creating a Facebook page, it will not cost us anything. So we can do one of that. We take one of we'll create one Facebook account for our church. If we do have, we then need someone to be updating all of our activities there. At least that alone, it will help us. You create a page, we follow the page, all of our data development, we upload it there, we post it there. At least we will know what we are doing. Since for now we don't have an active website, if or not. So that's a good one. Our information sharing, information. We need a strong a person who will be on top of our church information. So like I said, there are a lot, but for now,
Yeah,
sorry.
what's on my mind also is the Lutheran. Thank you so much, couple. The Lutheran University. That's one. Our church is doing, carrying a lot of development. Like the both of you mentioned. But my mind is also on the just ended, proceedings at the 10th Judicial Circuit Court in Lofa County. Last week, I saw our sister Annie Flomo. She made a long comment, a long dossier. I think about 5 paragraphs. If you can actually dissect them, it's going to be like 5 paragraphs. But it says, Annie, I mean, we came out to you. We make the platform available to you. You did not take advantage of it, and until the chairperson of the St. Matthew Parish had come on, and reveal some information to her, that's when you started speaking. So, hey, if you still want us to get your side of the story, even going back to the women, the women convention, what is the entire status now? Your status, with the church. So please let us know, okay? But I think time is fast spent, about 25 minutes past the hour. We will now bring on the chairperson of the Lutheran University, our dear senior brother, Batam Abel Lewilly. He is the chairperson, Board of Trustees, Lutheran University. Um, Brother Abel, we want to say welcome again. This is your own platform that you structure. And again, want to say welcome back. Today you are sitting on the other side of the table. But again, all of the work that you put into this media outlet keep us moving today. So we want to say thank you for that dream. And we give you the opportunity, bring us greetings. This is the first time we're meeting in the year, so we want to say Happy New Year. Bring us greetings from the family, from the board, Camp for Peace, Lutheran Church in Liberia. You have the opportunity, 3 minutes. We want to say thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Willie. Thank you, Elijah and couple, for affording me the opportunities tonight to share with you the current status of our dear institutions, the Lutheran Universities of Liberia. I bring you greetings from my family, and I also bring you greetings from my colleagues of the Board of Trustees of the Lutheran University, so you include the president. Bring you greetings uh, from my camp for Peace, Liberia, where I'm sick tonight, to communicate with you. It's a wonderful time to come together to kind of flag some of the issues and look at some progress that we're making and some of the challenges we have and how we all can brainstorm together to collectively address some of these things. So yes, it's a pleasure being with you guys tonight.
All right. Thank you so much. Senior, we want to get straight into the conversation tonight. So this is how we're gonna go about it. We want to give you the opportunity. We want to give you like up to 5 minutes, or with 3 to 5 minutes, because we're gonna have more questions. So you can dive deeper. But we're gonna give you about 3 minutes, at most 5 minutes. We want you to give us some updates since you've been on the board, since you've taken over. What is the status right now give us some updates. Then we'll go to our dear sister couple, Silly. She's there in Manitoba, Winnipeg, Canada, and she will be giving us the first two questions. She will have some follow-ups. Then we will go to our brother Elijah Zina there in Minneapolis. Same thing, two questions. Then we go around the cycle and I will follow.
Okay, thank you, Wale. I think the Lutheran University is a premier institutions of Lutherans across Liberia. Uh, Currently is on a tripartite arrangement. That is the all Liberian Lutherans in the Americas, the Lutheran Church in Liberia, and the universities itself. These three institutions operate the Lutheran Universities of Liberia that was started some years back, a few years back, with its first president, Dr. Sakwi Manungba, who currently resides in Totota. Uh, the universities currently run three colleges, let's say two colleges. I would say three because of the College of Theology. That is the College of Health Sciences. That is settled like on two campuses. One is also Esther Bacon, as you know, was eventually added to the College of Health Sciences and that of Phoebe School of Nursing, making the College of Health Sciences. And then we have the College of Education in Total and the College of Theology. So currently, those are the three faculties that we have at the Lutheran universities. And I have been on the board now for almost 2 years. For the past three months, I was unanimously selected by my colleagues, both in the diaspora and in Liberia, to serve as chairman of the board of trustees, a role that I resumed since then. And I have been working with my colleagues to continue the good job of where our former chairperson stopped, and to work with the university's presidents to keep these institutions on and to keep it moving. Uh, there are some progresses. There are also challenges that currently face the universities. You know, every institution has its own ups and downs. Um, the LUA is of no exceptions, especially for us that just starting. We came out of transition. You know, Esther Begum and Alo Phoebe was running as a medical institutions. So these institutions were transformed from being a diploma degree issuing institutions to a bachelor degree with a new president and a new mandate. That means that all of the administrators at the different institutions have to go directly on the mandate of the president, and then also establishing the College of Theologies in Toronto and that of Education. I mean, all of these things comes with responsibilities. They all come with responsibilities and they come with challenges. But the overall is that the university is established and running, is being institutionalized within our church. Now we have a responsibility to ensure that the university runs as we want it. So we currently find ourselves on the field to kind of drive governance and administration when it comes to the level of the universities. We have a full responsibility to ensure that things are done. And I think that's the reasons why our colleagues kind of repose our confidence in us uh, with the hope and belief that we will be able to deliver. So yes, we've been working. We've been putting a lot of things into place, working with the presidents, working with the faculty, working with the students, working with the church, and also that of ADIA to ensure that things happen the way they should be. So currently, there where we are, we just pulled up graduation. I think sometime in December for Esther Bacon, and currently we are contemplating putting out the graduation for Phoebe. There are a couple of processes we put into place. Currently, the various deans are working with the president, academic deans are working with the president to ensure that we have a synchronized operational academic calendar for the university so that all of these campuses will start academic program at the same time and end at the same time with the same with one academic calendar. That process is currently ongoing. We are also working with the president to ensure that we have a synchronized budget, a budget that will capture all of the campuses in Zaza, in Phoebe, and that of Totota. Those processes are in place. Um, Hopefully, by the end of this month, the new calendar will be out as to when the next semesters will begin. Though Phoebe is still a little bit behind uh, uh, because of some other challenges, but gradually they are trying to now get on par with that of Zaza. Likewise, Toyota is also fighting so that hopefully by February we can have a one synchronized calendar to uh, continue moving over the universities. There are other things that we've also put into place. Though we have deans at the various campuses in Zaza, in Phoebe, and that of Toyota, we are also in the process of recruiting a vice president who will work along with Dr. Manangba to ensure that academic activities are properly implemented. So that process is on. As soon as the board is able to kind of finalize that, um, the president will be putting out a vacancy to ensure that Lutherans and non-Lutherans that are qualified for these positions can also apply to help make our universities a better institution. So yes, will stop here with my intro, and I guess you have a couple of questions that you may want to ask me, and then we can delve into those questions. Thank you.
Absolutely. And want to say thank you so much for the updates you've provided. Uh, a couple, you can go ahead with your two questions, please. You are muted, couple.
Thank you, Brother Avery. I want to say welcome again to my Lutheran Connection. This is a very serious discussion for tonight. Yeah, that we long been waiting for, and I guess other people, students, they have long been waiting for this. I listened to your intro. There were a lot of things that you raised within your introduction. You talk about how the university were established, and you are given the opportunity. You are given the opportunity to work. And in one of your conclusions, you said, okay, now we already have a university running. So now we have a university running. How effective is our university running?
Uh, yes, Corporal, I would say the university is effective to some extent because it has not closed yet. I think until we reach to the point of closure, then we will say it's ineffective. But for the fact that all of the colleges are operating, we can say is effective to some extent. I just told you that recently, just in December, about few weeks back, we had a graduation from Esther Bigum School of College of Health Sciences. I think we put on approximately, if I'm not mistaken, some 45 to 60 students. I need to check that record up. They graduated in different disciplines of uh, nursing, midwifery, and other areas. We also have the Phoebe campus that is currently operational. The school is open, and I guess they are now on their midterm. We'll soon be getting to their final. Likewise with that of Totota for the College of Education and Theology. Yes, all these colleges are operational, but every institution has its own challenges, especially looking at the current dispensation, not only in Liberia but in the world when it comes to the issue of finances. Financial constraints is one of the major things that we have. Um, to find money to run the universities is it's a big challenge. I guess it's not only with the Lutheran universities. Other institutions may also be facing similar constraints. Uh, with you have the universities that is running with the primary source of income only come from student tuition. Is we mostly rely on the tuitions of the students to kind of run the universities. Though uh, support is coming also from the ALIA, from the LCLs, they are all giving some level of support. But I would say it's not sufficient. And what does that mean also for all of us? Not only for the administrations of the university, not only for the board, but for all Lutherans. So that also means now that we all have to be ambassadors to see money wherever we can find it in a more uh, in a more intense manner to run the universities. Right. So these challenges are there, and couple you may know that in this country, when it comes to tuition payment, most of us can hardly afford to pay tuition. That is one of the biggest problems. Both of our students are people who benefiting from financial aid from uh, other institutions like Esther Matter, for example, from government institutions like Ministry of Presidential Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. To get this funding coming in and flowing to the university is also a very serious challenge. So we have to work on all of these things together. So just to quickly summarize your question, when you say how effective it is effective to some extent, but there are challenges. It's like couple is needed.
Oh, sorry, I got noise from you. You talk about one budget, one calendar of events, right? Okay, and you talk about sometime last year, December, you people put a graduate from Esther Baker. So when it comes to your one calendar year for LUL, how will you put out Esther Baker and Phoebe is still struggling? The guys who learn, some of them said they are done with their affiliation, they are only waiting for graduation and nothing yet. So how can you reconcile that one calendar event when it comes to all of the colleges?
Yeah, we just completed 2025, and Corinne had to pull on graduation because students who graduated have completed their academic activities, they defended projects, and they were being kind of qualified to graduate. Currently, we have students at Phoebe who have also completed. Hopefully, by February, I guess there will be another graduation for Phoebe. But what we are saying is that um, that should be the end point of individual campus graduation. Because now we run university, we are now running individuals institutions. All of the institutions, Lutheran institutions, are now under one umbrella. So beginning 2026 to 2027, all activities on these campuses will all be synchronized. I mean, everything will be done simultaneously. So we don't want a situation where we have Esther Baker graduating at different date, Phoebe graduating at different date, and total time maybe not in a very long distant future also will be graduating. So we are saying beginning 2026 and moving forward, all activities will be together. So if we say graduations today, it means that students from Phoebe, students from Zazzle, and students from Toronto will all be in that graduations package instead of people coming out one at a time. So, couple, what happened in Zazzle with graduation and what will be happening sooner in Phoebe, we are saying those are the last point of the transition where these schools that were operating before the university was established, graduating students based on their own calendars and so forth. We are saying that would be the end. And then moving forward, we'll have one graduation across all the campuses.
Okay, let me do a follow-up question to that. So, the one calendar that you talk about, the one calendar event that you talk about for LUL, back then when you people did this calendar of event, all of these things were not captured within this calendar of event. Only this one that you people are about to do.
They were captured, but remember where we come from. Our universities is not a universities that was just established, let's say from the grassroots. These were institutions that were all running on their own mandate, on their own supervisions, on their own academic programs and so forth. So the process of bringing all of these things together is a process. It's not an event. It takes time to do that. Um, they have had their calendars moving on, but it have never been as synchronized as it is now. So we are all saying we are no longer running individual colleges. We are running one universities, and it's about time now that we do it together, right? So all those processes have been like part of the transition process.
Do you see
So
it as a challenge?
it is a challenge, and that's the reasons why we are trying to address that. Because I guess you want to hear when they say Lutheran University graduation, you want to hear about students from Zaza, students from Toronto, let's say from Toronto, and students from Phoebe. That has been a challenge, and uh, the president is working, have been working in that in consultations with the board, and that's why we are now trying to address that challenge. And we strongly believe that challenge will be addressed in this year 2026. So the next time you hear that there is graduations taking place, you can rest assured that it will be graduation that is cut across all the three campuses of the Lutheran University.
All right, Woody, it's back to you.
Thank you so much, couple. And Brother Zita, your two questions, please.
Thank you, Willie, and thank you, CM Brother Abel and Chairperson of the Board of Trustee of the Lutheran University for coming on the show tonight. I know it's very challenging to be on at this time, but making that sacrifice means that you have interest in this conversation. So for me, I like for us to go back um, to Phoebe specifically because I know the entire Lutheran University, there's so many challenges at all levels. Um, One point in time when there was commotion at the Phoebe Estopeka School of Nursing, Phoebe's campus, um, you were appointed as the person to investigate that uprising that happened on campus. And I know we hosted you on the show, and you promised us that you were doing this investigation, and then you're going to make a report, and you're going to update us gradually as you went about this investigation. But then we find out that you went into communicado, there was no information coming up. And then the next thing we saw was student went to register, they were suspended based on recommendations from the president of the university, and students were not informed also. So I'd like to understand you as my first question. Did you recommend in your report, since we did not see it, that these students that were involved with this protest, they should be suspended? I just want to understand what led to specific students being suspended and taken out of school, and if they have been reinstituted as part of the ongoing process.
Thank you, Elijah. Absolutely. I was the chairman on the investigative team that went to Phoebe to inquire about the student protest that was held sometime last year. And we went in there. We talked to a couple of people. We spoke with the dean of the college and the administrators. We spoke with the faculty, some faculty members. We spoke with the students. We even spoke with outsiders, including alumni of the school. There were a couple of issues. Just like any institutions, there were some tensions among the administrations and all of the students. There were tensions among administrators and teachers. There were tensions among administrators and students on one hand. And we did a comprehensive investigation. students pull out their grievances. That one of the issues that stood up, that came in as a common theme, was the issue of the lack of communication. That every time they talk about issues, the administrators, let's say administration was not able to adequately address their grievances. Um, it's part of other issues that some of the faculty members should leave the campus because they don't have a manner of approach of talking to them. They talk about the issue of affiliations. Those were all demands that came up. And then through our investigation, we also got to realize that all of the processes and the blames and all of the faults was not just about the students, now also about the school. You couldn't believe that during the investigation, we realized that a good number of the students, some of whom were even demonstrating or protesting, have not paid their tuition. Some have not even paid their tuition. We met with the students. And in that meeting, some of them even pleaded with us that the school have to take it easy in terms of collecting tuitions and fees. They talk about the issue of delay reopening the school. But then when we asked, we realized that most of them come to registration with nothing, no money. You don't have money, Elijah, how do you go to school? Education right now is not free. All of us understand that, especially at the tertiary level. So if to say you have maybe 200 students that you need to register in order to begin your academic year, and maybe in the first 2 weeks, you will not receiving maybe 5 students. 5 students is not sufficient to run the school because the money from there will not be able to run the school. So with the issue of Phoebe, that was a major problem when it comes to the issue of delay, because students come and they kept pleading for time and time and time. So sometimes the school will say, okay, we gave you 2 weeks for you to come and do your registrations and pay part of your school fee. After the 2 weeks elapses, then they pay for another maybe 2 weeks. So sometimes before you make up your mind, you realize that instead of then starting academic calendar, let's say date, time, sometimes go for like a month plus. So Phoebe will always do the kind of adjustment within their schedule. And that's one of the reasons why today when you see that Phoebe is still a little bit behind, that's one of the reasons when it comes to that. So we also spoke with the students, and most of them complain about the issue of tuition. Just to quickly give you a history of Phoebe. Back then these schools were all free. They were almost like free. People went to these schools without paying money. But that have changed. We can no longer live at a time where we are dependent on aid. Now the school is running universities, and UNA depends on this as a premier source to get money, just like any universities across the country. So if students don't pay tuition, where do you find money from to run the school? So we gather all of these different information together and make some recommendations to the board. One of the recommendations we made to the board, one incident occurred when we were just there. You talk about the issue of accreditation. That was one of the students' demands. They demanded that the school get accreditation in order to add value, right? So that was one of the demands in there, I think in their 7th count. Now, the school put in for the accreditation team. The very day the accreditation team landed on the campus, when they started the process of accreditation, some of the students, when they came to the accreditation site very late, when they got there almost about an hour plus, and the supervisor said, no, you guys have to wait. There's a serious matter going on here. Say you came in late, just wait outside until this session is over. And some of those students said no. They insisted they have to sit in there for the accreditation, and they disrupted the process. So we captured that also in our report. So in our board meeting, we said we divided the students into 2 categories. Category 1, those who were on the protest ground, who blocked the hospital's compound. We said the best punishment we can leverage for these people, not to expel them from the school, but to give them at least 10 days of reflection. And during that period of reflections, there will be a counseling session to talk to these students about some of the challenges that are currently taking place in the school. That was category one. Category two are people who were formed in the protest, but at the same time were also formed in disrupting the accreditation process. Elijah, if you tell me that I'm hungry and I want to go on protest because I'm hungry, I say, okay, Elijah, I've gotten 2 cups of rice. Let me try to prepare the 2 cups for you to eat. And while preparing the 2 cups for you, and you enter the kitchen and you take the pot from on the fire and chunk it. That I'm just trying to set a scenario. That was it. So then we said those students who were formed in the protest as per their demand and at the same time disrupted the accreditation process, those students should be expelled for a semester. I think there were about 2 to 3 students. So basically, that's how the process went. I think there was a very smooth process. We felt the least punishment we ever gave was to allow the student have 2 weeks of reflections, and after that, as long as they complied, to come to that counseling session, the rest of that, they can return to class. But those 2 to 3 students should go home for at least a semester.
Okay, CM brother, thank you. Just to follow up to my first question, as a learning institution, our first goal is to keep students in school, not to keep them out of school. So I'm sure that in as much as you want to punish students, there are other means that you can ensure to punish students rather than keeping them out of school. There were lost time for student. There are lost time for student at Phoebe campus as well, and also there were 7 counts recommendation to the university by the students, and there were also administrators that were also mentioned in the protest and the other documents presented to the university to the leadership. So you took decision to suspend some of the students. Students are receiving punishment. So I'd like to also know for you, amongst the 7 counts of the university of the students' request, how many of those you have lived up to, and how have you held the leadership at Phoebe campus responsible? What
And
they
that's not a
How have you hold the people, the leadership at Phoebe campus responsible for their role in leading up to this protest by the students?
Okay, just before I come to the question, Elijah, you are very right. The goal of education is to ensure that students remain in class and continue with their education. But there are instances, like in this instance, we said the students have some rights. I mean, they have some very good demands to put forth. But I think they also just went above their limit for the fact that during our investigation, we found out that yes, it was actually true. They had a faculty in one building and they locked them up completely. People were in a faculty meeting and they locked the faculty out for the fact that they blocked the hospital compound and refusing for ambulance and sick people who supposed to go in to come in. We felt that was just too much, and that's the reasons why, in terms of suspension of expulsion from the school, no, we didn't go that route because we want our students to remain and we want them to stay. So we decided that a dialogue was the way forward. So a 10 days of staying out of class and having the conversations around counseling and getting to understand better how some of these things work, we felt that was the most appropriate way to get the students to understand and to better channel their grievances as much as there was a problem. On the other hand, the 2 students who we expelled, I mean, it was just too much. Just cite an example. You can't be making demand at the same time disrupting process in anywhere in the world. If you make a demand and people trying to address that, it's good that you wait and see what comes up. Now, back to your questions in terms of what happened with the other issues. These are administrative issues, Elijah. As I speak to you currently, we have been able to address some of these issues, and we are still working on some. So we are working with the administration, we are working with the presidents to ensure that some of these bottlenecks and challenges among the administrators and faculty, we can adequately address some of those issues internally in order to have a better, stable university. Because everything we do, we have to do it with care and maturity. We need our students because without the students, we don't have a school. We need our teachers and our administrators who are making the ultimate sacrifices day in and day out to ensure that instructions continue. We don't also want to lose them. So the best way forward is to have the dialogue. Let's continue to have the conversation as we are currently doing so that people will be able to put up their grievances, people will put up their hurts, and at the same time make some good recommendations that we all can work with. So basically, that's what we are doing right now.
Thank you, CM brother. Will you agree with me that the opening of the Lutheran University and the integration process of the two existing institutions was done hastily and there was no proper oversight of the Lutheran Church in Liberia and that of the board of trustee that led to all of what we are experiencing now with the Lutheran University?
Uh, I guess before the establishment of the university, there was a board, there was a committee set up, and the issue of the university was a long time request from members of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. I remember a couple of conventions that I personally went to. This whole issue of university was being discussed. People discussed this at different level. That it was time that the Lutheran Church in Liberia tried to have a university. Said we already have an established institutions. And then eventually this was passed in one of our conventions, basically in the Southeast. And the past committee did extremely well. That even by even coming up with the first document in order to have the universities up and running. And Alia has been very instrumental in this process. What I will tell you, Elijah, we always think that it was done hastily. But sometimes, as I said in my own wisdom, I'm like saying, it couldn't have been a better time than this. Um, Sometimes, if you don't enter into a process, you won't understand what is there. The Lutheran Church and Aliyah and these various institutions went into this tripartite arrangement now that they have it. A lot of lessons have been learned. And from my opening statement, that's what I said. We have the responsibility now as members of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. We have the responsibilities as a board of trustees to work with everyone, to work with all of you, to ensure that wherever we have loopholes and gaps, we can begin filling all of those loopholes and gaps. I have toured the various campuses of our infrastructure in this country. I was doing an investigation. We went to Phoebe and we entered the laboratory. You will not believe the Lutheran University has one of the best laboratory in the country. Other people running nursing school don't have what you have. You will not believe that your two institutions as referral hospitals are one of the best institutions where schools, other nursing schools from across the country come for affiliations. Cottington right next door to you. They don't have a hospital. All of their nursing students cross right to Phoebe to do their affiliations. Students come from all across the country to do affiliation in your hospital. So that places you even in a better position to actually run a nursing college as you are doing right now. What have been missing is that there have been some administrative challenges that we think we can also put that into place. Um, if we work together collectively as a team, understand one another, listening to each other, and I got the strongest conviction that we can reach the mark. We have been in transition. It's never an easy process to leave from one stage to another stage in transition. These institutions were in existence. They had their own board of trustees. They had their. Now you came in, and then you pulling all of them under one umbrella. There will be a lot taking place, and you don't blame anyone for it. All you can do, continue to hit the nuts, continue talking, continue discussing until you bring things together. And I think that's where we are heading now. So in my capacity as chairman of the board of trustees, my my modus operandi of doing things is to give a space to everyone on the table. There is no one person that is least important in this process. Those who first embark on this journey, that is people who are serving on the board, people who put pen and papers together to bring these universities into existence, we need to get them back. We need to get Lutheran members back. We need to hear the voices of Lutheran members. We need to hear the voices of diaspora Lutherans. We need to bring everyone together. We need to bring the hospitals administrators together because we are all in this boat together. And from my background, as chairman of the board of trustees, I'm working with my colleagues to ensure that we create a space, we create a bigger space for dialogue so that we bring all recommendations and suggestions and see how we can make this university as one of the best in Liberia. And that's just what we are doing right now.
Thank you, Sam, brother. Back to you, Woody. You're muted, Woody. We can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Do you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam, brother, and thank you so much, Elijah. Sam, I want to go back a little bit to a report. There's a report from the Hessinger. There's a Hessinger report between 2017 to 2022. The report indicates that millions of students in the United States have been penalized, or we may say have been punished for disrupting school sections, for in several ways, from minor offenses to major offenses, ranging from suspension, expulsion. So the action of the board recommendation that some students get, like, 1 day suspension or 10 days suspension and few weeks suspension. Was that a decision that was just taken out of the blue, or like a deep consideration was done before this decision, before such a decision was made or recommendation was made?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there were deep considerations. The protest was like a student popular uprising. What do I mean by that is that it was not just limited to a few students that carry on the protest. The protest was cut across. So almost 60 to 70% of the students were involved in the protest, right? We met with the student leadership, and what they told us was that their plan for the protest is not the trends they took, right? Some people acted on their own, and they wanted to show to the administration that they wanted their grievances to be met. So going into suspending students at that level, we felt that could be too much. Maybe eventually you are just going to empty your entire school, and then you couldn't have students because you would send everyone for suspension. And that's the reasons we said those leaders that were leading the process needed to go through some counseling, at least 10 days of reflection. Yeah.
Thank you.
And those two to three students that put forth, they were part of the demand making. They made their own demand and said, this is what we want. So when administration decided or started meeting some of those demands, and then they disrupted. So then we even asked them. So if you ask me to do a piece of job and I begin to do it, and you come by, you the same persons who made a demand, and you are not coming back and then disrupting while I'm trying to address that, how do you feel? So during our investigation, we met with some of these students, we talked with them. How do you feel? And though they changed statement and said, no, we came there, did not disrupt. But you went to the place, the accreditor, the examiners were already in. They have already gone 1 hour plus into conversation, and you came very late. And the supervisor is saying, just give a chance. Let's get through with the first session. And you demanded that you have to get in there. We felt that was a disruption. So we said, okay, those 2 to 3 students, let them go home for a semester. Then the rest of the people have at least 10 days for reflection. Let them come for counseling so that they can rejoin and let us all begin anew. Though it was a decision that was taken by the board, and we stood by that decision.
Thank you, thank you, Sam, brother. I asked that question primarily because the for the fact that it should be made clear that the decision made by the board to recommend the suspension of these students, they did not go with holy hands, like they were not, their hands were not folded. They went to either pray or their hands were in their pocket. They did nothing wrong, absolutely. And the board just decided to witch hunt, some of them and say, let's suspend them, because blocking the pathway for healthcare workers, blocking the pathway for people who are on critical lists, if they are refused or deprived from receiving medical help, I think that amount, in my opinion, if I were on that board, that amount to an expulsion for those ringleaders. But I'm glad that the board, saw it in a different manner and said, you know what, let's do a 10 days reflection. Let's do, a semester suspension. My only question, follow-up question to that is that, were they informed? Because we had a segment on this platform. Students call in and inform the general public that they were never informed. They went to do registration and they were denied. So were they informed? Are you aware that the students were informed that they were going to undergo, these forms of punishment?
Oh, yes, I believe we mandated the president, and I think the president gave out a directive to the dean to do a formal communication to these students, informing them about the 10 days of reflections and then the 1 semester suspension for the 2 to 3 students that were involved in this process. So I believe that was done, though there were delays in that process as well. But after several conversations, that communication should be up to those students by now.
Okay. All right. So I want to move to a different part. Elijah mentioned earlier that some of the faculties, the students had concern about some of the faculties. I think one person was either the registrar, and another person was either the dean. And quite recently, correct me if I'm wrong, quite recently, I think some of the instructors were on some, kind of go slow action. So for those staff members that the students had concern with or about, those staff members being, heading these heading these various positions in the university. Even the bishop also spoke about it. Bishop Patmo spoke about it, and the recent action of the instructors. Could you just speak to them? Speak to those issues quickly, please.
Yeah, that about 2 weeks ago, I received a communication from the president about teachers go slow right after the Christmas break. The teachers wrote that they will not return to class until their salaries are paid. Currently, as we speak, Phoebe campus still have like 2 months salary arrear with some other performance benefits that need to be paid to them. So they wrote a communication to the president, and immediately the president did arrange a meeting with them. We even met with the bishop, and we discussed all of these things. The president went to the Phoebe campus and met with the faculty and the administrators and talked to them. and give them a guarantee that their 2 months salary could be paid maybe in the next 10 to 15 days. As I speak to you, that process is ongoing. We are already working on that, and we are very sure the president and his team are all working together to ensure that the salary that have been outstanding will be paid to the teachers this week. Today is Sunday, so we are hoping between now and Friday, we have those salaries paid to them.
All
But
right, I want to
yeah,
go
yes,
ahead.
just to come in, well, in the era of administration, there are just too many things that happen, right? In my opening statement, I just told you, I say the premier source of income for this university comes from students' tuition. Phoebe campus has almost about 276 students, if I'm not mistaken. And out of that 276 students, you have almost like net to some students who are on scholarship. You only believe that these scholarships sponsors have not made their commitment. So the question is, where do you get money from to pay the teachers? So these are all issues that we are considering. These are all issues that we're working at. But on the line of the go slow, the teachers return to class after the presidents met them last week, and this going week, instruction is ongoing. So between now and Friday, we are very hopeful that their salary demand will be met.
All right. We will go to Elijah. He has someone on the phone, and after that, I have one question. Then we can recognize our viewers. Go ahead, Elijah. You are muted.
Thank you, Woody. We have somebody on the line calling from Phoebe campus. Hello, can you call your name and give your question, please?
Yeah, student Abraham Colley from Phoebe campus. So I just want to ask the board chair in studio there. Thank you so much. We do appreciate all of the ups and downs that people have been going through when it comes to students and making sure that issues of our campus are settled, which of course it is one of the main reasons why we always follow the show. It's one of the main reasons why we always seek information from you people. But when you mentioned about the punishment levels on students, it came from two categories, and you mentioned that students that took part in the general protest, they were also there to be punished, and also students that allegedly disrupted the accreditation process will also be punished, will be given a semester punishment. So I want to know from the board, because that was an allegation given. I would say an allegation in the sense I was one of the students, Abraham Cody, who was suspended for semester for allegedly disrupting accreditation process. And the board chair, the ABL, I spoke with him directly. When the information reached me, I spoke with him directly, and I wanted to inquire information on why I was suspended. And he told me that was the reason. And I told him, ABL, it is true that there's a decision, but I think people have to find me to hear from those students before taking this decision, because in the first place, our student Abraham Colley was not on campus doing the accreditation. I was not on campus. Then how will I be suspended for a semester? When you're saying that the suspension for a semester is based on the involvement, my involvement in the accreditation process. So I want to know from the board chair that how did they come up with those names when students were not investigated or were not asked to know their role within their role within the protest and that of the accreditation, linking with accreditation when we were demanding for accreditation. Why were those students were not asked on that question? Hello.
All right. Yeah, Abraham. Thank you for your question. I think the chairperson heard the question and he's going to respond. You can listen.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abraham. It's not possible that I'm going to know all of the students by name or impressions. The investigations I was done, I've never met any of these students before. We were on a mission to accomplish, to do the independent investigation voice of whatever. Uh, we spoke with the students in general, we spoke with the faculty, and we spoke with everyone. At the time, our reports were still in the trade. Then we got this report of student disruptions in terms of the accreditation. So immediately we captured that. We captured that and we made our recommendations to the board that while the investigation was in fact still ongoing when we were at the stage of reporting, there were disruptions when it comes to accreditation. So everybody said, wow, are you killing me? Because if you make a demand and the administration is trying to address that demand, you cannot be the one to disrupt. So, Abraham, I don't know whether your name was one of the names that came up on those that disrupted the accreditation. But as I said, 2 to 3 students' names were involved and they were captured. And the board took a recommendation. That recommendation was for these students to be spared for a semester. And the rest of the people that were involved in the protest could then uh, be suspended for 10 days.
Thank you so much, Senior Brother. We hosted the president and 2 deans here on MLC on my Lutheran Connections Live, and they talked about the enrollment, student population at Lutheran University, the scarcity of student population. Considering that our church has this large number of tertiary, secondary education system in Liberia. Most of our parishes have a good number of students in high school. What is the relationship with our high schools and our university, and what are some of the plans to have this connection, in terms of increasing our enrollment population? Because if you look at some of our education partners like the Catholic schools system, most of the students from Catholic schools, not all of them now, but most of the students from Catholic school, you find them enrolling into the Polytechnic. That would keep their student population, that would keep the number up there. But when we hosted the president and his 2 deans, I mean, they had no answer for that. And in terms of publicity, how what's the level of information our parishes have when it comes to our university? Is it just on the 13th Street compound, or among board members and Aliyah members? The various schools in Lofa, in Painesville, in Grand Bassa, are they aware of this Lutheran University?
Thank you very much, Willie. We have a lot to do. Currently, you have only 3 colleges that you run: College of Theology, College of Education, and College of Health Sciences, basically nursing and midwifery. Now, a couple of things that we will have to do, and I guess the president is working on some of these. We are on a policies level to make policy decisions for the universities. The president and his staff, on the other hand, are running the day-to-day operations of the university. But I guess there are a lot of plans in a way. One of the things the universities will have to do is to open up more faculties, more colleges. So when we begin to talk about the College of Engineering, College of Technology, College of Agriculture, and College of Development Studies, and the different colleges, if you have all of these colleges, because our students in our very high school, now all of them want to do education and theology, now the nursing. maybe very few will be interested in doing nursing or educations or wanting to do theology. So if we want to be more massive in our endeavors to kind of open up, we will have to open up different colleges. And then secondly, we have to do a massive launch at various high school campuses across the country, conscientizing our young people, our students, that the Lutheran University is now in a full swing. Whatever we need to do, this career career facilitations across all of these high school, telling students the career path that they want to take after graduations
Like
from high
career
school.
career day. Hmm.
Yeah, career development, something like that. But you can't do those things when you have unlimited colleges, right? Even though we can still send out a message. Those are interested in nursing can come to the nursing school. Those that want to do education go to Toyota to do education. Those that want to do theologies do likewise. But currently, there's plan on the way to open up more colleges. But we first need to leave the stage of transition because where we are, to be frank with you, we are still in transition. And the transition process, as I said, is not an event. It's a process that's still dragging us. And when we are talking about having synchronized calendar, synchronized budgets, and all of these things, when we are able to settle all of those things and be, more satisfactory with the first three colleges we have, then we'll now begin to open more colleges. And the more we open more colleges, the broader we're going to do outreach to our very high schools and even to other non-Lutheran institutions who can take advantage of our universities. So those plans are on the way, Willie.
Thank you so much. I can see the ego in my colleagues, faces. I can see the expression. So maybe what we're going to do is before we can recognize our viewers, we'll give Elijah just one question, and a couple will ask just one question. Then we can one question. I'm sorry. Then we can recognize our viewers. So Elijah, just a single question, then followed by a couple.
Yeah, Brother Abel, thank you. For me, I just have so many questions around the whole investigation that happened, and for me, and I want to come across very clear that I believe in discipline. I believe in people being held accountable when they did something wrong. They should be held accountable for it. But I think the investigation process that went on at Phoebe, and especially the one that links the students with the accreditation process, which of course it was one of those things that it demanded on the 7 counts presented to the administration. Because when that suspension happened, you remember I called you, Abel, at the time you were not the board of trustees chairperson yet. I called you, and you had your own reservation. And then I called the teacher responsible on campus, and he also explained his part of the story. And I think there was not due diligence done to that process. There was a gap in the communication, but because there was a previous offense, especially that led the protester to blocking the hospital and also holding some teachers hostage, that amplified a decision to just incorporate whatever information that came that this accreditation process were halted by agreed students. You went ahead and just incorporated that into that report without making a further investigation with the individuals accused in this process. And I think due diligence was not done. That's my opinion. You can respond to that, but I think that due diligence was not done to that process. With that, my question to you here, Brother Abel, Dr. Manakwa, he was hired to come to Liberia, the plan was to have a world-class Lutheran University. And this has been the sun in our mouths. We are thinking we want a world-class Lutheran University. And now that we've are not running, not even a thing that I see as a university for me, I think it's just still a college. Um, as the new board chairperson of the Lutheran University, what are your plans of improving this university as it relates to, like you said, we are in transitional period. The university is almost going to 2 years now since it opened, and now you're talking about we are in transition, and that's the new chairperson. I know you have vision, you have energy, and you are very much versed when it comes to education because that's your specialization. And I respect you for that. I just want to understand what are the plans that you have that you're going to be putting forth to improve the livelihood of students on campus, holding administrators accountable for efficient operations of the Lutheran University campuses, and how you're also going to hold the stakeholders responsible for improving the Lutheran University to what you want it to be. I'd like to understand that details from you right now.
Thank you so much, Elijah. As I said, the gavel is in our hands to to make the difference because prosperity will go into judge us tomorrow. And that's the reasons why we don't take this assignment and the responsibility like them. The past 3 months have been very intensive. If you can speak with any of my colleagues on the board, have been an intensive process. We've had meetings that have lasted for 8 hours. You wouldn't believe to have a board meeting lasting for 8 hours. Maybe just taking a short break and coming right back, insisting that agenda needed to be discussed for us to come up with solutions. That tells you the seriousness of the issues. There are a couple of plans lined up, and we are just right now working on some of those plans. I just named two of those to you right now. One is that we must have a synchronized calendar. We don't want a process where Phoebe, Zozo, Total are all operating at their own will. There have to be one system. Our president has been very, very instrumental, but it's a suggestion that we try to reinforce. And then we are also following up. 1 minute. We are following up with him to ensure that that is done. Number two, I also told you that as chairman of the board of trustees, there's no way that we're going to succeed in this endeavor until we get the voices of the stakeholders. We have to get the voices of the students, the faculty, the administrators. We must capture the voices of those who started the process before us. There were people here who sacrificed their time, their resources to put documents in place before even we talk about the Lutheran universities. Those people need to be brought back on the table. They are Lutherans. We all need to sit around the table to have the conversation. And that's one of my strategy of bringing these people together so that we have a dialogue. Then after that, we have other things that we need to address. We need to develop a strategic plan of where we want to see this university. Because if we develop a strategic roadmap of where we want the universities to be, then that would be able to guide us in the process. And those activities are coming up very soon in this 2026. 1 minute. Let me just answer this call.
Folks, you are in tune to MLC Talk. This is the platform we discuss all things Lutheran. We're having a conversation with the chairperson of the board of directors, Brother Batam Ebelewili, chairperson, Lutheran University's board of trustees. Go ahead, Brother Ebel. Once you conclude on that, then we can recognize our viewers, please.
Yes, so as I was saying, we cannot also operate in the absence of a strategic roadmap. We are in 2026. The universities need to begin thinking, how many colleges do we want to add in the next 5 years? What are the areas of focus? Do we want to go in the area of technology, in the area of engineering? What do we want to do? So that is not something that Dr. Manangbai could just serve as president is just do. He would make the way and the acquiescence of the stakeholders. So in such a strategic process, we're going to invite the experts to come and capture some of these things. And then the strategists are going around to do that. So that is also on the plan. And that strategy document will kind of capture all that we want to do within the next 5 years. Those are some of the things we're going to. Number four, we know that there are other universities and colleges that are also getting subsidies from national government. So I know there are a lot of Lutherans in this church who have influence. Some of the people who started the process and some of the people who are in other parishes, we need to call them to see how we can also rally around the national legislature so that the universities have some budget in the national budget. Because we can't continue to squarely depend on student tuitions and fees. Right now, the issue of fundraising is a very serious problem. Of course, we'll be reaching up to you, the diaspora, to see what mechanism we can put into place to have a sisters universities across the United States and Canada that could also send some professors, some lecturers here to also help our faculty in the process. So there's a whole lot, Elijah, but I think with a strategic roadmap, that's going to really help us. Like everyone will see, and then we can follow that. So that's one of my plans in the immediate term. I've already shared that with the rest of the board members and with the presidents, and maybe during our next board meeting, that's another thing that we're going to take up so that we can have a date to that, and then we begin to invite the stakeholders.
Having a strategic roadmap from the chairperson of the board of trustees, Brother Batam Ebelewili. Couple, you have a question that we can recognize our viewers?
Why will you be asking me if I have a question?
Go ahead.
When you have asked more than 10 questions, you alone. All right, Brother Eba, thank you so much for that update. Yes, as I sat back and listening to you, there are a lot of good things that we got in store for this university. And we all pray and hope that we all work together and all of these things, it comes to pass. Yeah, it comes to pass. And when it shall have happened, we all will be proud of our own Lutheran University. There was a quarter listening to Abraham. Abraham called and there was a question Abraham asked you. You talk about the investigation of what happened at Phoebe, which led to the suspicion of some of the students. And then the issue of the accreditation meeting that was held, that some of the students disrupted back then, and based on that, some of them were suspended. And now Abraham is saying that he wasn't part of that accreditation disruption at that time. So I just want to know, how did you come up with your findings that led to the suspension of Abraham, who wasn't at that disruption meeting?
Yeah, I just told you, couple, that during the process of the investigation, we have just left the Phoebe campus. We got to Phoebe, and a massive work was going on as per the students' demand. The students talk about a lab that needed to be constructed, and we saw that work in place. They talk about the campus of the university was filtered, but when we got to the campus was clean. They have just cut the grass to the ground level. And my colleagues and I stood there and we were looking everywhere. We said, but where is the deck that the students talk about? They talk about the dormitory was filtered. We went to the dormitory and we saw almost everything in place. The only thing that we didn't see was the pump, the water within the building. I think they said they have just fixed it and was still having a little problem. So then we asked the dean, but these were the students' demand. Why you have all of these things into place? He said, yes, we are working on them. We have challenges, and they put forth this demand. We're working on them. They talk about campus being filtered. We have cut the grass with grass cutter everywhere, and we saw that. We saw the dormitories. The students were with us. Some of them were with us. And everywhere was clean. My question was, when they started, they said it started after the protest. I said, but that's a good news. For the fact that the student put forth this demand and now you guys are working on them, that's fine. And we indicated that in our report. So far, one of the things that was remaining was the issue of the accreditation, which is very key to the survival of the universities. We have led just in 2 days, while in the process of compiling our report, then we got this report not from one source, not from two sources, from many sources, that students have started disrupting, in fact, in the process. We spoke with the supervisor. The supervisor said there wasn't a big deal. We told the students when to be in the hall, to be seated, because during accreditation, there is no movement. No one move. You have to remain seated because it's like an examiner examining you. You have to remain seated. So even if you went 1 minute after the time, it's counted against you. So these students walk. And the supervisor said, y'all just wait, let's get through with the first session. And they insisted they have to enter the building. It went against the school. I don't want to go in depth with where currently we stand in fight when it comes to the accreditation. That's my went against the school, and we are still fighting with it. The administration at Phoebe and that of the president, they are fighting this battle right now. So, couple, we captured those students. They were how many? I think 2 students. We captured them in our report. And we felt that was an affront to the university that even require expulsion from the school. I just set an example. If you tell me that you want to drink and I bring a cup of water, or while going for the water, and you slap the cup from my hand, that's an affront. So the board really firm at that. In as much as we wanted to be as much as we wanted to be flexible, as we did with the 10 days of reflection, our intention was not to suspend anyone. But I think that was just not in the right direction. So Abraham, I don't know. I don't know.
Elijah, let him finish. Then we'll Elijah, 1 second. Let him finish. Elijah, 1 second. Elijah, 1 second. Let him finish. Then we'll recognize the viewers, please.
But that's a few things you can do a follow up on your work.
On this thing, and I just wanted to bring a point so he can address
the time is fast. Couple, you asked the question, and Eva is in transit. Let him finish. That's what I was saying. Let him just finish. Let him just land. That's all.
Elijah, you have 200 and some more students on the Phoebe campus. 220 something students on the Phoebe campus. And I just told you that during the protest, almost 60% of these students were involved with the protest. That's a huge number. But we had a fruitful conversation. We had dialogue. We were not only investigating. Our intention was also to talk with students. So we trusted the process. We trusted the complaint. To have just 2 to 3 students who went back and wanted to enter the classroom and they were being captured, we trusted that process.
Okay, so that process was never investigated. It was just a complaint from the accreditation team to the board chair, and you just consider that.
No, there was affirmative. It was not that it just came from the supervisor who was with the accreditation team. This was also confirmed by some faculty member. It was also confirmed by the dean. We carry on the investigation, and we trusted the process. And within 2 to 3 students, we don't know any of these students in person. We have no basis of suspending anyone. And that's why we came with the least punishment. Of course, our decisions as board were being criticized somehow. Other people said no. Those who had the protest should go. We said no. We have to be a little bit flexible. What triggered us most was if you are going for accreditation and you have time mandate and you miss that time, you should be able to abide because there's a critical period for the universities. This is one of your demands that you have put forth. In an attempt to address it, take it very critically. There's no joke around this. So Abraham called, I don't know Abraham, I don't know him. We were only doing a piece of job. And that's just what we did. And we stood by the board decision, and we mandated the presidents to implement the decisions of the board as per the investigations report.
Thank you so much, Senior Brother Abel. We will go back to Elijah. I think he has a follow-up. So Elijah, if you are there, we'll give you another opportunity. You can ask a question. We know that where Brother Abel is, he's seated outside. We can, consider that as well. But Elijah, if you are there, please,
No,
you can
I don't
ask
have
the follow-up question.
No, I don't have question.
Okay. All right. Brother Abel, again, want to say thank you so much for the time. And to our viewers, you have the numbers on the screen. You are encouraged to call the 763-439-0458 and 404-446-5051. You can also post your questions. There are some questions in the comment section. We have Brother Abraham. He's the one, I think he's the one who called Abraham Nyantukpa. He said, following from Phoebe Compound. Also Abraham Muslim Biemin, we want to say thank you for following us. Our sister Marlon Molva, again, we want to say thank you. Brother M. Natania Toba, he's following from Police Academy. Want to say thank you. Natania Toba asked for the numbers. The numbers are on the screen. And he was asking, let's go to the main issue. Some of these points here you've already talked about them. He talked about the school does not function like a university. I mean, he's voicing his dissatisfaction. I think you also alluded to that there are a lot of challenges as well. But Emmanuel Kekula, he said not effective keeping children in school and up to 7 years. Poor administration. So I think you can read some of the comments for yourself, and you can respond to them. Emmanuel Kekula also, he said thanks for the question. I think that's the question a couple asked. And the council chairperson of Banasville Parish, Brother Ibrahim Tamba, he is following. And also speaking of Banasville, our sister Comfort Tuesaki. If you see that Comfort is following from Painesville, it means that she's gravitating towards moving to St. Matthew's Parish, and that's something we had a conversation about. So there you go. She said hi everyone. Hope everyone is having a great evening. Brother Emmanuel Kekula, he said, will this be an excuse? We're running a business, and it is your choice to say no or yes to enter. And yes, that is true. I mean, even here in the United States, there was a bill passed to, people who are delinquent in paying their student in loan, wish garnishment. So I mean, he's right to that. Collie Ajibrikin Abraham, he said, please post the number to call. Collie, the number is the number is up here. Killing Swakoli Guikoli is falling from Zozo. Roof Tour Wilson, Civilized Fella. Okay. And it's Philia or something like that. Okay. Phoebe Prince. When Uncle Abel was not board chair, he used to analyze those issues.
What's it say? You begin poaching and I get you.
It sounds like when someone traveled, they say, oh, the person had drank the water, tasted the water. So So since you're butcher now, you've tasted the you've eaten some of the bull meal. So you're speaking differently
Testing
now.
the sync
Yeah. Emmanuel Kekula also said put in a system in place to regulate and that's true. I mean, at the university too, scholarship, the sponsors were asked to
especially with
pay.
Asla Meta and Asla Meta and a big
Yeah.
company that will
Those
be
are big
dragging
companies. They
on
should
paying
be asked to pay.
on paying students tuition.
I don't know. I mean, this will also fall on the university. I mean, go after them. Let them pay. If they don't pay, I know at the university, students were poured out to go to their sponsors for money. The Lutheran University is not okay. Just it's a serious embarrassment. Just expressing, frustration. I mean, and to be honest with you, brother Abe, I empathize with these students because staying in school for 7 years, I mean, it's just unacceptable. I agree with. I empathize with them. Lutheran, and this guy said Lutheran Uganda of Liberia. Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done, Sim, brother. Yes.
No, I just want to quickly clarify about the person that posted that they have gone 7 years without graduating. Few people on graduation year before last. How can you then say the university have gone 7 years without putting out graduation? I don't want to agree to that.
I can recall seeing a
yes,
video from
because in 2004 there was Phoebe graduation, and because since then graduation have not been held, that's the reasons why the board have taken the very strong decisions that the graduations need to be fast-tracked, especially for students that have completed. As we speak, there's discussions going on right now. Hopefully by February, we hope that graduations can be held to pull up those students so that then we move forward with things. And I also heard another comment that when I was in a board chair, I was discussing issues. You may be right. You may be right. The positions I'm sitting now as chairman of the board and the positions I was in, those are two different positions as members of the board and as chairman of the board. And because the gavel is now in my hands for the past 3 months, that's the reasons why I'm saying all of those comments. You may be right to make all of those comments. I understand the frustrations of Lutherans. But now we are sitting in the decision-making seat now. So we have a responsibility now to ensure that things are working properly into place. We can then put along with our colleagues on the board and that of the presidents to make these things happen. And that's exactly what we started doing. So I just wanted to clear up that 7 years, no, it's not true.
Okay. So we'll finish with these few comments. Collie Ajibreaking. So on behalf of this network, we want to state that we are not aware that Bishop Partner is the former bishop. So Collie Ajibreak, if you can please refrain from calling the right reverend.
Maybe he's making mistakes, so you just need to know that it's not.
Yes, so we do not endorse this comment that he's the former bishop. Emmanuel Kekula, he said, "How did you investigate?" And Marty Swar, I'm following from Phoebe campus. Sis Marlon Molwa is also following again, and also our father. Couple, is your time. Can you pronounce his name, please?
Small.
And our dear brother Anderson Cooper, thank you. So we have more to do as Lutherans to make the long dream of owning university reality. That's true. So we'll go. This is the second round. Usually we have one question and a follow-up. This time around, we will go to Elijah. He will, after him, I will come in with a question, and then Sis Couple will also follow up from there. And then after that, we go into closing.
Again, thank you, brother. Again, thank you, brother Abel, for all your time, and I really appreciate the conversation. One of the things that you mentioned is that you guys are working hard to make sure to ensure that the university is effective, and you are trying to work on a synchronized calendar event to make the university effective and work holistically. So I want to understand from your perspective now that you have investigated, you got a new board and everything else, but the past semester for students at Phoebe Hospital, the time has been wasted. There have been not much achieved at Phoebe campus right now. And you're talking about graduation of those that already done the affiliation, they've defended the thesis. I know those are the people you're going to be graduating. But how are you going to make up time for the lost time for those students that should have completed their semester this gone semester at Phoebe and they did not have that opportunity to do it? How are you going to make up for that?
Yeah, thank you, Elijah. You know, graduation is an event, and it should not be tied much on maybe everyone completing their courses. We are hoping that every year we should be able to pull off graduation, and we hope that will be reflected in the calendar of events, in the academic calendars that are coming up. Uh, if 2026, there will have to be another graduation because this graduation for Phoebe, we're considering it as a special graduation
Yeah,
to
I
finish
think.
up with
Let me
people
interrupt you,
who
brother
have,
Abel. My focus is not on the graduation. My question is, those you're going to be graduating, whether this year or next year or in February, those are students that have met the requirement. But there were interruptions in the academic year semester for students at Phoebe. How you going to make up for the lost time for the students who are not yet at the point of graduating, but they've lost a lot of time this whole semester? How you making up for that for them?
yeah, that's just what I'm driving to. I was just trying to tell you that the coming graduation for Phoebe, I guess, that's going to be a special graduation for all of those whose time have been delayed. But
Okay.
that doesn't also negate the fact that there will not be another graduation, especially for people, students already now in their senior year. Take, for instance, if you complete your semester this coming February, right? You complete your academic courses in coming February. All you have to do just to wait a little bit for that set graduations that will be coming up, maybe hopefully in November, right? And then we have this as a standard every year. If we are saying November for graduation across all campuses, once you complete your courses, whether before or by then you can form part of the graduating class. That's going to work. I know there have been some delay on the part of the Phoebe campus, and that's the reason why the president has put on a different mechanism into place so that some of these academic activities can be fast tracked in order for Phoebe to get on par with that of the other campus. So all of these plans are on the way, Elijah. It's currently on. You know, we are going to make sure that we get this plan off the ground in order to stabilize the academic activities.
Thank you. Back to you, Woody. Are you there, Woody?
Sorry. Sorry. I think I was having a little glitch here. So somebody, I have a question on the when it comes to the administration. Currently, we see that we have only the president. I think some of the concerns raised talking about having a world class university, we need to have this structure. And you mentioned that the university is in the process of hiring a um, a vice president for a vice president to aid the president. When can you tell us that the university is going to have a full structure to fully run as a university? Because as we speak now, um, the president is pretty much the president is the only one moving on these campuses with two deans, and I think the students were also complaining about the controller. In just so that I don't forget that I did not hear your response on the controller and the dean at Phoebe that the students had concerns with, that they did not want them, or they raised concern that these two staff members are the main cause of some of the issues, at the university. So, one, when will the university be, at that level to have, or when can you project that the university will be at that level to have a full staff, like administratively, and these two staff members, again, I want to come back to them. What have been some, what have been the decision made on them? Because the students, like I said, we had a segment here, and the students called in, the student raised concern about these two individuals. And correct me if I'm wrong, there was also information filtering that the dean Lowell from Phoebe Hospital, Phoebe School, he even challenged the president at some time in terms of decision making. So, can you could you please speak to that?
Um, well, I will address your first questions.
Okay.
You talk about Dr. Manangba being the UNO president right now. Yeah, he is the president. Currently, we do not have vice presidents. We only have a president and the different academic deans that work with him. But everything comes with a cost. If you're having the presidents and different vice presidents, that's something that you have to have the budget for that. So the board is not just running, the board is carefully considering all factors. We are considering all factors. We are working at different fronts along with the school administrations, the presidents, and the various administrators. Different levels. We are working at the level of finances, in showing that we'll be able to secure some money that will be add up to what the students pay to run the universities. We are working at the level of the administration to ensure that we have the different administrative roles into place that will make the university more functional. I just told you that in our board meeting, we have already set up the process of recruiting a vice president. We currently have a committee that is working to draft the term of reference of the vice presidents, and we hope before the month comes to an end, that position will be announced vacant. So we are starting bit by bit. Maybe this year we happen to hire one vice president, and then maybe next year, 2027, we can hire another vice president. And onward, as our finances improve, begin to have more people on board. But we have to do it with conscience. We will not just have people that we cannot pay. Everything boils down to finances. But on a serious note, strongly, we are working on that. If we are able to get the first vice president who will work along with the presidents and the different teams to coordinate activities, that would be very perfect. This is part of the reform process. Now, going back to your questions when it comes to tension within administration, I don't deny the fact there may be some tension in the administration, which is a common thing across all institutions, including government. But what do we do with these tensions when they come up? We have to critically address them. And you cannot address them also with perceptions. You can't just address them the way you need to address them. These are administrative matters. They have to be handled with care. So over the past 3 months, we've had a couple of meetings, and I think those meetings are yielding good results. They are yielding fruitful results, especially for institutions that is transitioning from one level to another level. Obvious, you expect these things. You're definitely going to expect these things. But the manner in which we handle them matters. So within the administration itself, yes, there are challenges there. There are disagreement. People disagree to agree. People discuss issues to agree. And that's the reason for us, our way of leading is to bring people together, to add up their differences, to look at issues critically and see themselves into the picture. So that when we're taking decision, we will not be hurting, but we'll be correcting, right? So those processes are currently on. And I want to assure you that it's going to get better. From the result we've seen so far, it's definitely going to get better.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam, brother. We have one caller, and after we go to couple, then we get your closing statement, then we will take it away from there. It's after 5 p.m. now.
Hello, caller, call your name and go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I'm Andrew T. Noah, one of the students from PB SW College of Health Sciences. Yeah, based on what Chief Abel was saying, I have some issue. When it comes to the accreditation based on the laboratory accreditation happened before the nurses accreditation. And since then, we haven't seen the result yet. And by right when accreditation go on, after 3 months or 60 days, you can see the result. And up to now, the laboratory accreditation result, we are not seeing the result. And students, we are still in dilemma. We don't know our standing point up to now. That's one of the main issues. And also some of the issues we're talking about, students were called into disrupting accreditation. Like Chief, if they're not investigated any issue about that, one of the president, even on that investigation team, they not investigated any student, they only want to take decision based on what the team told them. So he said, I think they seem to be not carry on any investigation. Even the student are involved into it, and you know. So if you take a decision against student that you don't even investigate that student, you don't even know the standing point of that student. And up to now, that students are not in school based on that particular decision they took. And when it comes to also the scholarship they're talking about, also ASUM that scholarship beneficiary. We've been ASUM that been paying our school for almost 5 to 6 semesters. And now they're coming all telling us that ASUM that's supposed to receive our enforcement. We got that the communication we receive this month. ASUM that's supposed to receive our enforcement. And ASUM that will not receive our enforcement because they will not choose the process. And they only chose the process when they receive the invoice from the institution to pay the school fee. And as we speak, almost 2 semesters in school, and they all send our invoice. And the people being doing payment are directly to the school and also to Arsenal Meta as I speak. So almost 2 semesters our invoice are not being in Arsenal Meta being doing payment. And now they come and tell us that they will pour us out until Arsenal Meta receive our invoice. So there are some issues they really have to work on. Yes.
Thank you. The chairperson.
Yeah, that's a valid question. Yeah.
Respond to
Sam, brother, do you want to add Couple's question to that, or you want to?
No, I could address
Let
that
me
one.
address the call.
I've thought a lot around this whole issue of suspended students. I think there are 2 or 3, if I'm mistaken, 2 students that were suspended who the board took the decision because they disrupted the accreditation process. And on the issue of the report, that's something I need to find out with the administration about the reports. The report of accreditation should be out by now. We have been discussing that at different levels. There are a few challenges. We are also working on that, but I think students need to be in the know of the outcome of that report. And I just told you that some of the folks also came during the time of the accreditations, and that's why make the process very critical. But I will follow up with the administrations to see if the report had been broadly disseminated even to the students' body, and then we'll see how we can handle that. On the issue of the scholarship, this have come up within the board meeting on several occasions while money are still outstanding. As we speak to you, Phoebe campus still have around $40,000. That is something to 40,000 in receivable, and these are all scholarship beneficiaries. But how do we run the school? If I'm on a scholarship, I also have a responsibility to tell my sponsor to pay my scholarship fee. And we want the students, I hope someone are listening to me tonight. Education nowadays is expensive. So if you are also on scholarship, one of the things you can do is to get back to your back donor, to your scholarship sponsors, and tell them that we haven't received our scholarship funding coming. The school is trying its best. But just to give you the magnitude, I just hit that point to tell you that there's a huge money outstanding. And these are all student tuitions and fees. Folks, how do the universities operate when this money is in debt? When students owe this money in scholarships, personally, the students are listening. They know how payment goes. Phoebe have been very flexible. They have been very flexible when it comes to receiving student tuitions and fees. And as a board, we are also mandating the administration, just like you were saying. You don't pay, you don't attend. You have to pay your fees. There's the only way we get a university functional, effective. So then the administration may take some lapses in terms of being so weak in collecting their fees. So the board is also coming up with a new mandate so that students be able to pay the fees in order to pay the teachers, in order to get a university very effective. We understand the challenges, financial challenges in this country. So let all of us work together. Esther Meta is one of those scholarship body that have now almost paid fee for 2 semesters. So the issue of invoice, I'm just hearing it tonight. And that's the reasons why it's good to have this conversation. I'm going to do some inquiry around this, how that process, why the school need to send invoice to Esther Meta before they pay the tuition. If the school have not done that, then of course we will be telling them to do it immediately so that Esther Meta be able to pay some of the outstanding that they have for the school.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Brother Abel. Go ahead, Kopo.
All right, thank you so much, Brother Abel. Yeah, there was something you mentioned during your presentation. You talked about LUL being having one of the best laboratory within Liberia, and we also have the referral hospital for affiliation. I just want to know the working relationship between the Phoebe School of Nursing and the Phoebe Hospital that will give our students the opportunity to carry on affiliation or using the laboratory. Is it owned by LUL or it is owned by Phoebe Hospital? And if it is so, what is the working relationship with the two institutions, between the two institutions?
Well, the hospital is the Lutheran Hospital, and Phoebe has its own administration that manage the hospital. And the school is a separate institution, though under one umbrella, which is the Lutheran Universities. This is not something to mess my words. There have been some little bit of, tension, some little bit of tension. There are also challenges when it comes to that. You know the story, I know the story. We know where we came from as a universities, separating institutions, in order to operate. That also brought some tension. It brought some misfeeding. I understand all of those frustrations. In all of my conversation, I have said, there is no way that you can separate the universities from the hospitals. There's no way. These hospitals own these institutions in the past for so many years. 50, 60, 70 years plus. They own the institutions and they were running them. So today, if we are trying to make some advancement, so to speak, it has to be a collective process. It cannot be like a competition. It cannot be separation. Because it should rather be a university hospital, if we want to pull it that way. So, Kopo, yes, there are challenges on this. I have been speaking with some of the board members for some of these hospitals. And as chairman of the board, I've said, gentlemen and ladies, let us come together. Let us come to the table. So these are some of the challenges the board has to address. So now we need to have a couple of meetings. We need to have a couple of meetings. We need to have it with the medical directors, with the medical staff, with the school staff. We all need to sit and see what can we do. But notwithstanding, the hospital is still open to the students. They are still doing all of their affiliations there. But We see some bit of fissions and bit of separation. We shouldn't be like that for both Phoebe and that of Corinth hospitals. But in the process, we work on them like you have opened this
This is
platform.
MLC Talk, the
We
platform to
will
discuss
always
all
come
things Lutheran.
to
Today we
have
have
the
with
conversation. We'll always come to tell you what is teaching, what are the differences, what have we achieved, and what is still outstanding. So in the coming months, we'll be having conversation with this hospital to see how we can do things together.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Abel. Again, we want to say thanks a lot to you, considering the time in Liberia right now. You've, spend this much time with us. So at this time, we will give you the opportunity to please make your closing comments. We'll give you 2 minutes on that. And after that, we will go to Elijah, then our sister couple, then we will close.
Thank you so much, Willie. We've heard a lot as we sit in our own crosses. We walk, we talk, we have the conversation. I understand the frustration from across the SUL when it comes to the running of the universities. And I want to repeat what I said. A process of transition is a difficult process. It takes time to get it settled down. But we have the potentials, we have the opportunity, we have the infrastructure, we have the human resource. If only we will all come together and work, I strongly believe will make a difference. A lot of people think that nothing much happening. Maybe once upon a time, I was also thinking the same way, that things were not working, but things are working. These are difficult situations to go around. You don't just take decisions because you want to take it. It's a process, right? So we all have to go around. That's why I said this platform is open. As chairman of the board, I'm willing to listen to anybody to pass the information to the rest of the board members. And I just told you some of the plans about bringing those who initiated the process, those who are on the stage right now, whoever can contribute to the running of this university will open that space. And we all sit together and be very honest and very frank and see how we can all talk together to make things better. We have Total. We are now constructing a new building. We have Phoebe. We are now constructing. We have Zaza. We are now constructing. We have enough infrastructure to make the universities better. When we are able to put a better coordinations into place to get this process rolling, we'll definitely do well. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who listening to us tonight. You can call me on my number. You can send me email. You can send message to my messengers. Whatever suggestion you have to put forth, put them forth, and let me take it to our board meeting, and then we discuss it, and then we can come up with a solution. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you again so much, Brother Abel. As you know, it's been a while since we've been trying to get the ball on this show, and we're very much glad and appreciative that you can take off the time. And what a great opportunity that you are in the driver's seat as a chairperson of the board of trustees. So we can reach out to you, and we believe that you avail yourself, and we trust that you chairing the trustee at this time. We hope for nothing less than the best, because we believe in your ability. You've done it before, and we believe that by God's help, you will be able to succeed as chairperson of the board. We want to say thank you. Thanks to your team. Thanks to your staff. Thanks to your family as well. And have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Elijah. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Couple.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Abel. All right, that was the voice of Brother Abel Lewally, chairperson of the board of trustees, Lutheran University. Elijah, we want to give you the time for your closing comments. Then our sister couple will do same.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. I just want to say thank you to all of our followers. Thank you to Brother Abel for taking up the time to join the show today. It was a good conversation, and we are looking forward to ensuring that those things that he talks about can be implemented and ensure a smooth and effective Lutheran University. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple, are you there? All right. So while we wait on couple to come, I just want to remind our viewers that next Sunday, this is something that oh, couple, go ahead.
See you, man, Brother Abel. So thank you so much for the time and for giving us this information. We hope that we all see LEL as the one we want it to be. And I just want to raise this issue. I hope our church is looking in the direction of training our own nurses. Like we have Phoebe, we have also Current Hospital, where we will have our own nurses and say, oh yeah, these are our own. So I hope our church is looking in that direction. Once again, I want to say thank you to everyone.
Yes, sure indeed, couple. And as Elijah will always say on the show, that the Lutheran Church, Lutheran as a whole, the Lutheran Church is not brain drain. We have great leaders. I don't see why the university is still even struggling to have a vice president, because we have a lot of the technocrats out there. Some of them are even on retirement. I mean, for common example, like Sarah Taylor. Sarah Taylor has spent a long time in education. She's there, and we have a lot of potential individuals who can serve in that position. But Elijah, I want to end on this. It's been a long time. I would say almost a year, or I might be over exaggerating, but it's been a couple of months back that we haven't had this segment. But thanks be to God that the most popular Bishop's Hour will be here next Sunday. Next Sunday, folks, we're going to have Bishop's Hour, and this is a monthly updates on the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Please tune in this Sunday. We're going to have the Right Reverend Dr. G. Victor Patmo, Bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. He will be here. If you can all recall, first Sunday, we had the bishop assistant who came and we had a very, very good conversation. So this time around, Bishop Patmo himself will be here with us. So you don't want to miss this program on Sunday. And this is how we're going to roll for the entire year. We're going to have all of our our guests. They will all be lined up. We are already set for February. So by next Sunday, we will outline some of our topics and some of our potential guests that will be coming up in February. So until then, we want to say thank you all so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next Sunday. Until then, we want to say thank you and God bless you.